This is sort of where the difference between version 1 and Sentinels lies, because I want you to take a look at the beginning of this execute. So right off the bat, you can see that the fault line comes through to slow the push through a short. There's a suppression over here. There's a suppression over here. And that is gonna put this round on a little bit of a clock. So you're gonna see both teams kind of freeze. The dart gets taken out, Whippy gets tagged. But both teams, if we take a look at the suppression, it's going to end in 1 second here. And we can also see Sentinels is gathered up here in a short. A couple of their players are suppressed as well. So they're just waiting for that timer to end. Now I want you to just appreciate how good version 1's timing is and how well they understand what is happening right now. They are aware that this KO knife is a timer. So they are expecting Sentinels to explode out of this hit in about the next 1 to 1.52 seconds. Here comes the hit, the suppression is done, and immediately as soon as the suppression is over, what is this? It's a flashbang coming up in the air, and this is to stop and disrupt Sentinels from pushing farther up a short. One thing I've noticed about Sentinels is that when they decide they want to hit a site, they are going to hit that site. Almost like 100% of the time, unless they've lost players off the bat, they will tend to brute force their way onto site, especially if they have utility to work with. And so that's exactly what they're about to do now. But this little flashbang is going to cause a huge problem, because watch what happens. It immediately pops right as Sentinels starts their execute. Tens throws the cloudburst to dash into it, and Dapper is following up behind. Both of them are blind. These two players are not blind, but it doesn't matter because we also have a Rolling Thunder just crushing through this wall from Effie's in a link. And that is going to completely blow apart this execute from Sentinels, which has already started. So you can see there that immediately Tens and Dapper are executed. Both blind players are dead, and we have two players that are stunned in short as well. Completely done. The hit cannot happen at this point, but Sentinels is kind of screwed because they have dedicated all 5 players to this A hit, so they can't really back off and clear the rest of the map very safely. They've already used enough utility where they feel like the only way to win this round is to go forward. So we're gonna see essentially Sick is going to run up here and just end up getting caught in the crossfire. We can see Zombs trying to make something happen. Whippy takes him out as well. Version 1 was 100% ready for this hit to come up a short, and they played it absolutely perfectly to destroy a team like Sentinels that wants to just kind of, you know, muscle their way onto the site. So to further demonstrate version 1's ability to grasp the greater concepts of Valorant as far as utility usage and timing, I wanted to highlight this round. The round starts, we've got a bit of utility being exchanged here. See a Sova dart flying out to check for middle. There's a smoke here in A main. We're gonna see a KO knife come out right there. Gonna check for anybody playing close A. And then this dart that we just saw a shot is going to chase Tens out of middle with the operator. They also go ahead and drop this smoke here. Basically, they take a information denial approach to middle. So they're chasing Tens out of here. They're smoking it off. He's got to go reposition with this operator, and they exchange a little bit of utility at A. You can see that they're hiding all of their players. They're not showing anybody towards the B site. The only thing that they have shown is that there is somebody over towards A, right? The dart came from A towards middle, and then they also threw the KO knife at A as well. So you can see that that has been rewarded with Sentinels putting 4 players towards the A site. So now as I set up for this hit towards B, I also want to pay really close attention to how they are positioning themselves. Zelsis is in front, and that is because he is using the null command. The next person up is going to be Penny. And that is because Penny is on the jet and sort of is like that entry character that can close the gap and get deep into the site. Xander sets up for the smokes, Zelsis pops the null command, and look at the spacing. You've got 3 players getting in position to trade the 1 player who essentially can't die and leads the way out into this initial push. Utility is turned off, of course. There's the nanoswarms coming out here. So good, counter utility from Dapper. We also see a Hunter's Fury coming through to try and stop this push. And Dapper downs Zelsis, but it's Zelsis who is the KO. It doesn't really matter. He was there to take that first contact in the first place and immediately gets traded by that nice little 3 stack that we saw. So now Killjoy is dead. The rest of Sentinels is not on site because they already rotated and they're trying to play outside of the null command. And so that basically just gives up the free site. We're going to see Zombs get, a spam kill here. That's totally fine. Completely random. And it is what it is. Now, here's where things get even cooler because version 1 they just have such a good understanding of like how to use their utility. Here's the delaying knife that says, don't come here, you're suppressed again. And now that Zelsis has essentially used all of his utility, I mean, he has 2 flashes left, but those are not the greatest tools to use for a post plant. He transitions into the lurker, and we're gonna watch him wrap all the way around through middle. And this is extra good for a couple of reasons. Number 1, remember at the beginning of the round, they pushed TenZ off this angle, so they can assume there's probably nobody playing middle. Or certainly not holding middle anymore. And because they killed the Killjoy, they don't have to worry about an alarm bot holding middle either. So this lurk is going to be extremely good if the timing is correct. And version 1 is going to make that timing correct by force. So they actually send up this drone again. This is literally just to delay and kind of get stock of what's happening right now. So you can see it kind of pushes back Sentinels, they tag somebody, and then right after that, they're gonna go ahead and put up a smoke. So now this is even further delay. So now as Sentinels pushes in, we're gonna see the paranoia come through to try and clear the way for them to push through the smoke. Look at the positioning. They've bought enough time for Zelsis the KO to get behind Market, and this is going to create the perfect opportunity for him to kill Sick, who is on Sentinel's KO. Now, this in and of itself is an excellent play, but Zelsis knows that he's done enough in the Market area. So he doesn't need to continue to hold Market. He already knows that this kill is gonna make Sentinels have to think about what's happening in Market. And so he's gonna actually continue along all the way into spawn. And we can see right there's the reaction. TenZ is now looking to clear Market because he knows that they can't really just rush the site knowing that there's somebody behind them. They have to actually deal with what's happening in Market. So TenZ is looking in Market, Zelsis is wrapping around to spawn, and this is gonna create the perfect opportunity for a couple things to happen. There we go, we're gonna see a kill. Zelsis kills Shazam. Now Shazam is dead. TenZ is up into Market trying to clear this, while Zombs crosses towards the sidewalk. And because TenZ is trying to clear Market, he is now exposed to being shot in the back by Penny. Suddenly Zombs is alone at half health with 4 players just collapsing upon him, and it's a very, very easy round win for version 1. And that is really, I think, one of the things that separates teams like version 1 from the rest of North America right now and puts them in that upper echelon of maybe the best team in the region, certainly in the top 3, potentially most likely in the top 2 of the region, is that they just understand that this game is no longer just about aiming. It's no longer about tac shooter fundamentals. It's about how well you use your utility to disrupt the game plan of the other team. That is such a important part of competitive Valorant right now. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if 2022 is the year where we kind of stop celebrating the mechanically gifted, cracked players as much and start really kind of appreciating just how complex the game can be. And the teams that master this complexity and master utility usage and utility combos are going to be the ones that really take over the Valorant scene.